Hey y'all, it's Andrea with Sucs For You in Houston, Texas, and it is very hot and humid outside right now. And on that note, if you're keeping lithops in a humid climate, sometimes they have trouble absorbing their old leaves fully and quickly enough. What I mean by that is you'll see we have these little cuties right here. We got twins, and the old leaves right here, they feel totally dry, right? But they still, it's too humid here for them to actually get thin and crispy enough to just flake off on their own. Maybe eventually they would, but the problem is if these need water before then, and I water and it gets trapped down in these old leaves, that can cause the plants to rot. So my first suggestion is to use pumice or your other drainage materials and actually just pack all the way around that plant. Cover the drying leaves, the outer leaves, and that's going to help absorb some of the moisture from those outer leaves. In fact, I was just checking on this one to see how they were doing, and since adding the pumice to this little pot, those leaves dried up a whole lot more. They were just almost like jerky before. So in that case, I can either leave this a little longer because they don't look like they need water anytime soon, but I was gonna go ahead and show you how I trim the outer leaves to help make sure that, you know, again, water doesn't get caught down in there and cause rot. So we start, this is mostly pumice. Get you a little closer so you can see. We got some expanded shale. I'm sorry, that's turfus. Do we have expanded shale in here? I can't remember. Yeah, and he's ready to come out. Yeah, I see a little bit of expanded shale. And you can see also that's basically the soil that came with the plant. Some of it, I left it on there, and I didn't add any more to the pot. There's drainage holes, we have a little screen in there, but that's it. So if I pull on these, I'm actually able to just kind of peel them off. So that was ready, but another thing you can do if they're not quite ready to come off is, see, it has the texture of almost like a dried mushroom. It's not crackly like a dead leaf from a tree or something like that. It's still kind of chewy. You can take some little scissors, especially if maybe you're not too sure if the very base of these leaves are ready to come off. Just peel it back as far as you can from the plant. Okay, snip a little bit, and then from there you can either peel it away, you can come back in if you want and trim a little bit more, but right now I think that's enough. And these aren't really wrinkly yet. They're getting a little bit wrinkled, but even since I've removed it and kind of fiddled with the roots a little bit, I'm still gonna wait like a few days at least to water these. I see a little, what's that? I think it was something in there from might have been from a flower. Just a little bit of leftovers, but that doesn't, you know, harden the plant at all. I'm not gonna fool with it. In fact, I'm trying to avoid touching the plant itself with my fingers because the oils on our fingers can cause some damage to them. I'm pretty sensitive to that. But I've been playing in dirt and drainage materials, so my hands are very oily right now. Alright, so we're gonna pot this guy back up. Start by putting some of the drainage materials down in there. Okay, very lightly. Holding the top of the plant, pushing it down, and then I'm going to come in and just fill it back up. Super simple, right? Shake it. Goes to the other side. There we go. And then I'll come back in with some new top dressing. Fill it all up. Alright, looking good. Grab my little blush brush, clean it up. There we go, that's it. So again, giving it a few days for the roots to relax and I can wait for these guys to get a little bit more puckered, but it'll probably be, I'll water it in the next few days. If you have other questions about Lithops, definitely check out my video, Lithops 101. I'll link to that in the video description. And yeah, I try and keep it simple, but I know there's a lot of questions behind these guys. I had plenty of questions and still do. Like, how do I know what stage my Lithops is in? You know, the growing cycle, like how does that work? What if it's really hot where I am in the summertime, or it gets really cold? What do I do about summer dormancy or heat dormancy and winter dormancy? So I answer the majority of the questions I've been asked before and that I had myself in the Lithops 101 video, so check that out. And if you have questions about growing other types of mesams, then I do recommend you read my book, The Succulent Manual. If you Google it, it's available on my website, it's available on Amazon and all that fun stuff. It's an ebook and it's interactive and there's a ton of good information in there, so definitely check that out. Bonus track. I have these two very sad little Lithops in here that just kind of want to put out of their misery. They've been through just so much with the freeze, and I think there's at one point they had some scale or something, and I'm just kind of tired of looking at them, and I don't think they're going to recover. So what I want to do is open them and see what's going on inside, and maybe there's a chance of being able to save them, maybe not, but at this point I don't really have much hope for these, and I have plenty of other plants to take care of, and keeping these around just kind of bums me out. So let's see what's going on. Okay, so first up we have a very dry old leaf pear. Okay, actually just taking that off does make it look a little better, but I'm just gonna go ahead. Again, these have not been doing much at all, even less than a normal happy Lithops would. Okay, so there's a little tiny baby in there. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut off these older leaves as carefully as I can. I snip the side a tiny bit over here. Okay. There's some other funny growth coming out of it, and I think it might have been like a stunted flower, or the maybe the stem from a flower from last winter. Gosh, I can't even remember if it flowered or not. Well, again, it doesn't look as bad as I thought. I just have to be really careful not to screw up the roots. Ay, ay, ay. It's making me nervous. I'm going to trim a little more. Yeah. Oh. I'm going to try and get a tiny bit more. I have some smaller scissors. I should be using those, but actually I wasn't expecting there to be anything going on down inside, so that's cool. And the baby is already starting to look kind of wrinkled, so again I'm going to give this a day or two, just kind of see what happens, and then give it some love, water it, trim off a little bit more. And then to be on the safe side, I'm going to dust it with some sulfur powder. So then we'll just keep that somewhere out of direct light for a couple of days and have a peek at it. And then, you know, the roots look pretty good. Let's see what's going on with the other one. Okay, I'll start peeling off those outer leaves. They come right off. Let's see what's going on in here. See that little one? I mean, it's growing, but it looks really sad. It got some cold damage. Yeah, honestly, I can't remember if I brought these in the house or not when it froze here, but our house was down to maybe 32 degrees. A lot of my plants that were inside had some cold damage. It's crazy. Well, looks, maybe there's a chance with this one. We're gonna try. It's got some funny stuff going on, kind of like the other one. I mean, there's like some interesting growth. I can't really tell what it is. Like one leaf and then the two here, maybe? I really don't know, but we'll see. We shall see. And I'm going to go ahead and dust this one too. Here's to hoping. Good luck, little ones. Oh, and you know I always have one more thing to show you. Here it is, of course, right by the loud AC. Dun, dun, dun. Astapelia giganteae flower. It just fully opened this morning, and as you can see, the flies are in heaven, and I'm not gonna smell it this time. Some fun maggot action in there already. I know that's disgusting. And I'm kind of tempted to like do away with them. Is that wrong? We already have a bad fly problem since the freeze took away a lot of the fly predators. And I'm just thinking maybe I can just, I don't know, spray something on them. I don't want to hurt the flower, but it's going to wilt and die eventually. So I think yeah, I'll keep y'all posted if I wind up doing anything about the maggots, but it was stinky. I had to get away from there. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, y'all.